Is it the Call of Duty killer everybody claimed it was going to be? I don't know, but I'm just enjoying having another shooter, an arcade style shooter that you can just run around, shoot shit, and really just have your brain off. What's up, guys? Jerry Yap. Today we're talking XDefiant, if you couldn't already tell. This game is really fucking fun, man. I really, really have enjoyed my time playing this game so far. It just launched. I know it just launched. It leaves a little to be desired. But the thing is, guys, is that we paid $0 for this game. For a free game, it's pretty damn good, and it beats that Activision $70 price tag that the Call of Duties are every single year they come out. But yeah, we're gonna just talk about XDefiant. We're gonna talk about the maps, the characters, the modes. We'll get into all of that. So I guess we should just start talking about how the gunplay feels as a whole. This game has a lot of recoil to manage. I play on mouse and keyboard. I guess I should make that clear. I have not played a shooter on controller in years. And they do a good job of keeping the inputs separate. And then when I queue with my buddies who play on controller, it'll mix the lobbies up. But when I solo queue on a mouse, I just face other mouse players, which is pretty cool. Keeps the inputs separate, so nobody can cry to each other about whatever their input is. And that is one of the biggest problems gaming is facing today as well. There's my voice crack. But it's just like, dude, I know aim assist versus M and K. It's a huge conversation at all times. It's just cringy and annoying. I'm just over this fucking conversation. Who cares? Use what you want. Aim assist, it's a necessary evil to combat how large the skill gap is, you know what I mean, between keyboard and mouse players and controllers. So I get it. There's got to be something there. Shooters should be played on controller, especially if it's a console shooter like Call of Duty. Call of Duty, I know it was originally on PC, but it's a console shooter at heart. If it wasn't for consoles, the game would have not blown up like it did today. But that's besides the point. I'm gonna bring up and compare this game to Call of Duty a lot throughout this video. It's got to be. You got to understand where I'm coming from, though. You know what I mean? Like, this game is literally born from Call. Like, it just shares a lot of the same mechanics, similar modes too, not entirely, but similar modes and just similar gunplay. Call of Duty really kind of invented the arcade run-around shooter style of for FPS games that we see today. So this game kind of follows that trend and finally puts a real competitor out there for Call of Duty. There's been other clones or whatever you want to call them, I guess, throughout the years, but this is the only one that is going to stick around, obviously, and it's going to try to go toe-to-toe with the big dogs. So I respect that, man. Call of Duty's been shit for years. There needs to be a game to come in and also a company to just, get their foot in the door, get in the market. There's a lot of people that want to play a game like Call of Duty, but don't want to pay the hefty price tag every single year, which is nice, too. And it's just nice that this game is free. We didn't have to buy it. So I know that's not about the gunplay at all, but yeah, we'll get into that now. So I was just saying Call of Duty, it doesn't have too much recoil depending on the gun you use, but you move to XDefiant, every gun has a considerable amount of recoil, especially, like this SMGs, crazy recoil, ARs, crazy recoil. LMG's not so much, TAC rifles not so much, marksman rifle or whatever you want to call it, and snipers not so much either because, they're bolt action. But yeah, the gunplay, it took me a couple days to get used to, man, but I actually ended up really enjoying how it feels after learning to control recoil and also getting levels on my guns to have attachments, which is another thing. This game, it feels really hard to play with the base guns. Thankfully, it's double XP right now, so you can just rank up a bunch of stuff and just play around with a bunch of stuff, get some attachments unlocked. But yeah, I do like the gunplay, man. The gunplay feels pretty fucking fun. I do enjoy it, man. The hit markers sound good. The hit marker headshots sound good. The only thing I kind of wish there was in the kill feed, I kind of just wish there was like a representation in the kill feed for headshot kills. I know you get the little skull next to like the points that pop up with the crosshair in the forehead to recognize that you got the headshot, but I just think it'd be cool if it came up in the kill feed because you never really know if you died to a headshot sometimes, unless there's a way that I haven't caught on to yet. But yeah, that's minor complaint, but I do love shooting in this game, man. Every class of guns feels pretty good. ARs feel really strong. SMGs, I can't lie to you guys. I hated SMGs the first couple days I played this game. I think the MP5 is horrible. I think the P90 is horrible. The Vector's decent. The MP7's okay. It's just like they're outclassed by assault rifles if you're in like a one-on-one gunfight, and you have to get the jump on people with SMGs is what I realize on that now. It's just a completely different playstyle from AR. Running and gunning on this game was like so hard at first to get used to, but now that I'm like more used to the movement, more used to the recoil, I've been seeing a lot more success with SMGs recently. I'm like level 40 something with the MP5 now after double XP, just grinding it. And that's surprising me too, because mostly new games I try out, guys, like I'm just done with them after like a day or two. But this one's actually holding me for a bit. Can't say if it'll hold me forever. That's why I'm doing the video so early. I was gonna hold on to this video for another week and just gather more thoughts and have more playtime on it. But then I realized I might not even be playing this game in a week. So before that happens, I'm just going to get my thoughts out now. I could definitely see this as a game I constantly come back to, but I'm just grinding it because I'm enjoying it, man. I'm really having a lot of fun with this game. So we'll see where that goes. I'm taking a little bit of a break from Overwatch and other multiplayer games besides this, just because, I'm feeling a little burnt out, and every couple months I feel a little burnt out. So I like to just take like a week away from multiplayer games or games in general and just chill. But XDefiant has its claws in me right now. So yeah, just taking a little break from Overwatch, looking to come back to that next week and be more refreshed, less tilted, all stuff like that. But for now, in the meantime, let's just keep talking XDefiant here. Let's go over the maps. Or should I talk about the modes first so the maps all make sense? I guess I'll talk about the maps and then what modes are exclusive to, and then talk about my thoughts on the modes after that. Yeah, let's do that. Also, just want to mention the fact really quick. I really think this is a cool way to kind of celebrate Ubisoft's, games as a whole. I like the fact that the maps are like designed around stuff in the different worlds of, Ubisoft games like Division, Ghost Recon, Watch Dogs, Splinter Cell, stuff like that. I'm not too into Ubisoft games like Far Cry. I haven't played. The only one of these games I've played is the Division and Division 2. And I play R6, but this game doesn't have any R6 stuff in it yet. So, yeah, I just think that's cool. And, it's like a celebration of other games coming together. I love that. I think that's pretty cool. So let's go over the domination style maps first, I guess. We got Arena. Arena's the one that's like a, it's in like a gymnasium. It's on like a running track, a bunch of obstacles everywhere. This map, I don't really care for it too much. It's okay. It just feels like there's a lot of angles to die to in general. There's like just so many fucking angles. Everywhere has an angle on you, so you can just die from everywhere on this map. It's chaotic. It's good for SMGs because, it's just chaotic, fast. That's really it. I'm going to move through these pretty fast, so I just don't want to go on about them too long. Attica Heights is next. It's like the one on top of luxury buildings or hotels or something like that. It's got the B flag for domination below the circular pit, and you can look through it up top. Very linear map, 100% like mirrored linear map. I really like this. This is probably my favorite of these arena style maps or the domination style maps. This one's pretty good. It feels like there's a lot of flank routes you can take underneath. On the left and the right, you can run through the center. You can snipe from the center. Pretty cool map all around, man. Really, really enjoy this one. Next one is Dumbo. Dumbo's from the Division. I love this map. This map is another very good one. It's the snowy one. It's got the city section on the one side, and then like the waterfront bridge section on the other side, and then in the middle it has like the cargo crate with the B flag in the middle, and then it's got like the railings that go up into the buildings. I like this map. There's a lot of play styles you can have. SMGs are viable, like if you're running through the buildings and going up mid. I sat on the bridge side with an M60 on that one car overlooking the C flag, I believe it is, with an M60, and that thing is just nuts. It shreds there. Yeah, all around good map. I do enjoy Dumbo. Echelon HQ. This one's okay. It's the one that looks like futuristic inside of a building. Really really close quarters combat all throughout this, unless you go on the sides. The sides is like good for my like ARs and whatnot, but all of the chaos on this map takes place in the center of the building, and it's just constant close quarters fights. Pretty fun if you're running SMGs, but it's pretty hard for like long range stuff on this map, I feel like. Overall, it's decent. Emporium is, I don't really like this one. It's the one that takes place in a mall. It's got the staircases going up to the top, and then it's got all the windows looking out over into the city. I just feel like this one is very one-sided. If you have control of the B flag and you're looking out into like out of the windows to the enemy spawn, it's like you could just keep knocking them, dude. It's so good. Map control really matters on this map. Moving on to Liberty. Liberty's decent. It's the one with the fucking statue head in the middle of the courtyard there. It's got like the downed helicopters and stuff. Statue of Liberty head. This one's all right. Feels like you can use a little bit of everything on this map. Not too bad. I don't really have too much to say about this one. It's not really that memorable. Same with Mayday. Mayday is the one with a giant crash ship, and you can play on the wings, or you can play on like the grass side, and then there's like the water side under the wing that's lifted up. This one's actually pretty art. I actually do like this one. You can snipe on this map. You can close range on this map. You can AR on this map. Everything feels pretty viable. I do like this one. It comes up a little too often, but I know that's just because there's not that many maps in this game. Next one is my least favorite map in the game, Noodleplex. I don't like Noodleplex, man. It feels like everywhere you try to go, you're just going to run into somebody that's fucking, in a corner, or just looking at you where you're going to come out of, or just holding an angle on you. Doesn't really feel like there's all that opportunity to just like flank around. I mean, I know there is a couple flank spots, and sometimes you can come up behind and get kills, but overall, just not a fan of this map. It just doesn't really do it for me. And then we have Pueblito. Is that how you say it? Pueblito. This is one of the beta maps. It's like in a jungle. It's kind of, I don't know. It doesn't really have any key points. There's like the building in the middle that has like the wooden high ground that overlooks the center point. Pretty forgettable map. It just feels like, I don't know. I just really don't have much to say about this map. I don't really care for it. And then there's Showtime. Showtime is the one that takes place in like an old Western set. It's like a movie set or something. Old Western shit, rocket ship shit. I do like this map. There's a lot of good viable strats on this map. Pretty solid map. So that'll do it for the arena maps. I know my fucking explanation of them probably isn't the best, but moving on. Moving on to the payload style maps from Overwatch. Or that's, I don't know what they call it, escort, right? They call it escort in this game. We got Meltdown. Meltdown is the snowy one. It like takes place outside of a factory, and then you progress through the factory as you keep capturing the checkpoints. Eventually, to like this crazy room that reminds me of Junkertown at the very end. I actually like this map. I think all of the payload maps in this game are pretty good. This one has a lot of sniping angles on it, some high ground for snipers. SMGs feel pretty weak on this map just because, you're usually getting sniped by the time you can make it close. Moving on though, we have Midway. Midway is the carnival one. It's pretty good. I really like the carnival theme that plays on the ride as you're like trying to play the map too. It's very weird sounding, very kind of eerie sounding. I don't know. I fuck with it though. I really like it. Also, speaking of the title Midway, like I don't know why, but the font and the logo just reminds me of like Midway, the developer, that made like the Rush games and stuff back on like Nintendo 64. I don't know why. It just reminds me of that every time I see this map. But yeah, you start off in like the amusement park. It progresses through like different park attractions, and then you move into like a haunted house, which is pretty interesting. And then the third point is like a Ferris wheel park style. Very interesting map. The progression in this map, like visually, is just very interesting. I really like it. Very, very cool map. Definitely one of my favorites. Probably a top 3 map for me, to be honest with you. The next payload map is Times Square, baby, which I recognize from The Division. My small time playing The Division. Pretty self-explanatory, man. It takes place in New York. You start out, you fight through this little, city street, and then the next point is a metro underground, like subway underground, and then you eventually make your way back up onto the street into the city, only to fight into this like giant platform that's very defender-sided. That's typically how these maps go. The last point is always usually defender-sided with map terrain and stuff. That's just simple game design philosophy around, giving the defenders an advantage if they're being pushed in. I like that. Very good map, man. Very, very good Times Square map. And then the last map is the zoo. Who could forget the zoo? The visuals on this map are amazing. Who doesn't love fighting through a zoo? When it's loading in, you hear like different animal noises. I don't know if anything plays when you're actually playing the game. But the first part is like, the classic zoo outdoor area. The second part of the map is like an indoor aquarium type situation, which is pretty cool. And then the last part of the map is like gift shop. There's a couple more exhibits, and it's like a gift shop to end it off with a really hard slope to push into too. But yeah, that's it for the maps, man. Most of the maps in this game are pretty good. Just, the few outliers like Noodleplex, I just don't really like that much. But, good job on the team for the map design. I think it does pretty well on this map. A lot of dynamic and unique locations too. You're fighting in a lot of different like vibes in this game. It's actually pretty cool to see. Moving on to the game modes, I believe there's only 5 of them. We have Domination. Domination is classic domination from Call of Duty. 3 zones. You want to hold 2 of the zones because then you get more points than your opponent. Ends at 750. Basically, just control 2 zones for the whole game. We have Occupy. Occupy is basically just King of the Hill. There's a zone that spawns randomly on the map. You have to stand in it to get points, and then it goes away, and then you move to the next zone. Also pretty self-explanatory. There's Hot Shot, which is like a twist on Kill Confirmed. Hot Shot, there's these tokens that you drop after you get a kill and after you die. You can deny your teammates tokens from getting taken, and every time you get a token, your score goes up 1. But the thing is if you capture 3 tokens or more, you become the Hot Shot, and with the Hot Shot, you get boosted. I think you get boosted speed, like running speed, and then your weapon handling might be increased as well. I'm not too sure about that. I haven't played too much of Hot Shot in this game. But yeah, it's basically just like a better, a slightly faster version of Kill Confirmed, which is pretty cool. We have Zone Control, which is kind of like that control mode from Call of Duty. The last time I played it was on Cold War. I don't know if it was any of the new ones, but this takes place on the same mode or the same maps that Payload or Escort does. But you basically sit on these capture points. It's kind of like Rush from Battlefield, if you've ever played that, where there's a timer that ticks down. If you get it to go all the way around the little indicator, then you capture the zone. And when you capture the zone, you get time boosts, and you get more time, and then you can also get more forward objective. You get a more forward objective. Sometimes it's 2 more you have to capture. Sometimes it's 1 more you have to capture. But it starts out with 2 zones, goes into 1 zone, ends on 2 zones. Or it'll start off with 2 zones. It'll spawn 2 more zones if you cap those, and then it ends on 1 zone. So it can be either or. This mode is pretty decent. I don't have too much to say about it. I don't have complaints about it. It's just good. That's good. And then Escort, I didn't end up liking that much in the beginning, but the more and more I played it, I loved this map. Escort, obviously coming over from being a Overwatch player, I know how this mode works. I know all about, capping the objective behind the enemy's backs sometimes, although there isn't really that much opportunity to do that in this game. But yeah, man, you want to step on the payload, make sure it doesn't start to move backwards. And what you do is you progress the payload or defend the payload from getting progressed through 3 separate zones or checkpoints. And if you get to the end, then congratulations. It's the other team's turn to push now. And then what they have to do, what determines the win condition of this mode, is how fast you capture it. So your capture time, the first team's capture time becomes the standard for like the rest of the game. You have to capture it faster than the first team if you want to win, and that's all it is. If you don't, then you lose. And I really like this, dude. Coming over from Overwatch, how this works in our game is if you cap, then that's cool. The enemy team pushes. If they cap, depending on if there's certain rules or not, then you have to go into 3 or 4 more rounds. Sometimes it's only 3 because of, sometimes you don't cap with time, and it's like a whole thing. I'm not going to explain it all, but yeah, sometimes you're playing these maps for like 3 or 4 modes, even sometimes 5 or 6 turns, and it can get a little out of hand. But I like the way this map does it. Or just in quick play, I haven't played any of the ranked trial or anything like that yet, so I don't know if the rules change for ranked. But I really like how it is in casual, where there's only ever 2 rounds at most. You know what I mean? Instead of like possibly 6, which is just it's a good quality of life, good design to just keep the game moving. Games don't have to last all that long. So yeah, those are all the modes. I would say I'm just going to do a small ranking of them now. Worst to best, right? Worst, we'll probably go with Hotshot. These aren't bad by any means. Worst to best, Hotshot, then Occupy, then Zone Control, then Domination, then Escort. Domination and Escort are the 2 I am down to play at all times. I love those. Love those game modes. Classic, and I know them. Let's get into what matters the most, arguably, out of this entire game, and that is the guns. The things you hold, the things you shoot to kill your opponents. We'll just go right down the list here. Here's what I'm thinking. I'll probably just list all of the guns in a category and then just kind of talk about the strong ones and the weak ones and what I've used so far. So yeah, starting off with assault rifles, we got the M4A1, the M16A4, the MDR, AK-47, ACR 6.8. Here's what I'll say. The only one that you might not know is the MDR. Every one of these guns has been in like every other shooter ever made. MDR is kind of like a slow firing version of the ACR. It's like a little slower, a little more, I don't know. It reminds me of the ACR. It's like a slower version of the ACR, but here's what I'll say. The M4 is pretty good. AK is really good. ACR is really good. Haven't played around with the M16 too much. However, I feel like if you get an ACOG on this thing and sit in the back, like you'll probably just destroy people with this. And then the MDR is pretty good, which is going to be, of course, right, because it's a Battle Pass weapon. It's got a cool, fancy cosmetic at the end of the Battle Pass, so why would they not make one of the Battle Pass guns that's getting the special skin one of the best? Sure, why not? Moving on to SMGs, we have the MP5A2, the Vector .45 ACP, the P90, and the MP7. All of these I hated at the start. I hated SMGs when I first started playing this game. But now that I know how to outplay people with mobility, and that I played around with some of the different factions as well, I'm seeing a lot more use in my SMGs. All of them are pretty solid options. MP5 shreds if you can land a couple headshots at close range. Same with the MP7. They all kind of do the same thing, really. Vector has a very high fire rate, so it's good at taking out people if you're accurate with it. Nothing too bad to say about the SMGs. I hated them earlier. The thing is that if you take a one-on-one gunfight with somebody that has like an assault rifle or literally any other gun at range, right, besides maybe like an LMG, a slow LMG, even if they're hitting shots, they're still going to roll you, though. That's the problem. They just don't stack up against, you don't want to take fair gunfights with these, if that makes sense. You really want to just catch people by surprise with these. Moving on to LMGs, there's only 3 of them. We have the M249 SAW, we have the RPK-74, and the M60. All of these are classic guns that we've seen time and time again in realism war-style games. I don't like the M249 SAW really at all. I don't like this gun. The RPK is a little better than the SAW, I think. It does pretty good damage, has pretty good range. The SAW, I feel like I just don't like how slow you move with LMGs and how slow the ADS time is in this game. It's in most cases you want to set up with these and hold an angle rather than be running around with them. Although I just run around with the M60 ACOG like a fucking psychopath, and it usually works out for me. LMGs, there is what it is. They're decent. Snipers, we've got 2 of them, the M44, which is basically a Kar 98K with a scope on it, and the TAC 50, which is just another bolt action. I don't know what this one looks like, but it's just your generic bolt action sniper rifle. They both are bolt action, but they're both pretty good. Both are one shots in the chest mostly at all times. The TAC 50 is, I know, most of the time. M44 is sometimes a 2-shot. I think it depends on your range and if you hit them in like the legs or whatever. They're both good. Sniping is broken in this game. Sniping is super fucking strong. It's really, really, really good. No downside ever to really using a sniper. Unless you're trying to snipe on like a small map like Arena or something like that, then I could see having an issue, but that's it. Moving on to marksman rifles, we've got 2 of them. MK20 SSR and the SVD. SVD is, like a World War II gun or something, and then an MK20 is like your standard like marksman rifle. These are also pretty good. Very, very high damage, precision weapons. Haven't played around with the SVD too much. I got to level it and play with it more, but it's decent. I've gotten some levels. I've gotten up to the 3x scope on the Mark 20, and this thing is pretty good. Really, really good alternative to sniping. If you're trying to go up against snipers, you're probably going to have a bad time. But if you're going up against like ARs and, SMGs and LMGs and stuff like that, this thing is very, very strong. 2-shot most of the time, 3-shot other times against phantoms and stuff like that. But yeah, it's a very solid option. Very, very good. The shotguns in this game, pretty decent as well. I mean, they're not great by any means. They're probably the weakest of all the classes besides like the secondaries maybe. We have the M870 shotgun. It's like your standard pump action shotgun. That's probably the best of them. We have the double barrel, which actually does more damage. It's your standard double barrel hunting shotgun. I believe you can put the sawed off on it when you get enough levels. But the thing is this thing only has 2 shots, right? So if you miss one of the shots, or if you can't confirm a kill with the second, then you're locked into a super long reload animation. And you have to pull out your secondary if you want to, fight back. It's good. It does a lot of damage. It's very strong to cheese with. It's very fun to just like cheese corners with. Running around with the spider bot on dead sec and a double barrel or any shotgun is so dishonest and broken, bro. Like, it's so easy to just clean up kills with that spider bot. Very, very good. AA-12, the standard automatic shotgun from like MW2 and like all the olden days. This thing makes a return, or makes a debut rather, in XDefiant. It's okay. It's not the best. It's actually kind of weak. You need to be like barrel stuffing to get value with this thing. I feel like if you're gonna run the AA-12, you should just run any other SMG, because this thing is it's average. Like, you can do well with it. It can do well, especially on like defensive sided maps. If you're locking down some part of map control like close quarters, and you're not getting flushed out by a bunch of grenades and shit, then it's pretty good. Other than that, I didn't use too much of this thing. I thought it was pretty bad, so I just kind of unlocked it and moved on. And then moving on to the last of the classes, which is the secondaries, which is just your secondary backup gun. We have the M9, which was nice to see. We have not seen the M9 in forever. I used to love this thing way back in like MW2 and 3, the originals. We got a 6.86 Magnum, which is like your standard revolver. It sucks that it's not the 44, but I can live with it. We got the M1911. absolute classic pistol. Everybody knows and loves this, especially as a zombies player. This is just the World War II weapon, the World War II pistol. Iconic as fuck. Nice to see it come to this game. We have the D50, which is the Desert Eagle. A nice fucking gun selection here. I love the Desert Eagle. Everybody loves the Desert Eagle. Such a badass pistol to add. And then we have the 993R, which is like the Raffica, the 3-burst pistol. This thing's pretty good as well. All of the ones besides the Magnum, I would say, are pretty good just because, the Magnum has a slower fire rate. Same with the Deagle, which they hit harder though, right? So if you can hit the shots, then they're pretty good, man. So that's it, man. I do like all the weapons. I would say assault rifles are probably the best just because they're the most versatile in like every situation. You know what I mean? You can run and gun with them. You can camp with them. You can hold angles with them. SMGs, not very viable on some payload maps with a lot of range. I'm recently started picking them up. Like I said, I've been doing a lot better with them, but yeah, on long range maps, these things are horrid. And that's pretty much. LMGs are standard. Snipers are very good at all times. Marksman rifles are pretty decent, and that's pretty much it. That's all I have to say for the weapons. I'm an MP5 fanboy myself. I've loved the MP5 ever since COD 4, the original. I heard the silenced MP5, fell in love with that shit. Absolutely love this gun. That's usually my go-to. I usually go to the M60, and then I'll snipe sometimes with the TAC 50 if I'm bored and just want to change a pace. I use the marksman rifle when I want to change a pace. This thing paired with the fucking shield guy is insanely broken. But yeah, that's all the weapons. I love them. Cool to see some real world guns with the actual names of what they are in real life. Very nice feature. Very, very cool. And now we get to talk about the bread and the butter of this game, in my opinion, which is the different factions. The characters, not so much because, they're just cosmetic or whatever, but the factions are what determine your playstyle, determine your abilities, determine your ultimate. And coming from Overwatch, that is where I shine, man. And I can say that. I've been playing that game for like 8 years now, however long it's been out. So some of that knowledge transferred over to XDefiant, which is what I love. This is what I missed about, dude. I feel like Call of Duty peaked in Black Ops 3 when they had the operators with like the ultimates and stuff. I don't know. I just love it just adds like such a dynamic, gameplay loop to multiplayer that you just don't get with these newer ones, man. It's not OP enough to where it comes online all the time, but it's just OP enough to where it's like good for one part of the, like just one situation in the match where you can just pop off with it, and it doesn't come online too often, so it's not that oppressive. However, the shield guy, oh man, the Phantom Shield is very strong, and we will get into that later. But yeah, factions, man, love to see him in this game. So there's only 5 factions in the game. There's DedSec from Watch Dogs, Phantoms from, Ghost Recon, Echelon from Splinter Cell, Cleaners from The Division, and Libertad from Far Cry. And out of all these, I played the most of Libertad. I just love the healing ability. I've played them all a good amount. I'm actually very close to completing all the challenges to unlock all the characters. I just really like it because you can kind of, have different play styles depending on what faction you pick, So let's just start off with the one I play the most, which is Libertad. Also, each faction has a passive ability, 2 active abilities you can choose, and then an ultimate ability, or what do they call it in this game? Ultra ability, right? So the medical passive, or whatever it is for the Libertad, is they basically self-heal, and they can, if you're around a Libertad and you're damaged, you'll like passively self-heal, it's pretty nice. And then they have the BioVita Boost, which is like Baptiste Shift from Overwatch. It's just like a burst of healing for you and your teammates if they're around, which is really nice. It's like a stim. You can just pop it, get back to full health pretty quickly. Very, very nice. And then they have El Remedio, which is the other ability, and it's like this gas canister you throw out. It stays around for like 25 seconds or until it's destroyed. Pretty useful. You could just put this thing on a corner and then just like have a bunch of healing while you're peeking and stuff. Really good for long range combat. I preferred the boost though, like the stim, just because it suits my playstyle better. It's better for running and gunning. I wouldn't say the gas canister thing is it's better for like holding angles and using longer range weapons where you're not as contested. You know what I mean? So it's good for that, but it just doesn't really fit my playstyle. And then the ultimate is fucking so broken, dude. Espirite du Libertad, which no, that's the passive. My bad. Medico Supremo is the ultra. It gives you overhealth, so you go to 200, and then it puts this huge healing ring below you that constantly heals you. So you literally cannot die unless you get like actually melted the fuck down. So good, so good for contesting objectives and just like staying alive in certain situations. It's so broken, guys. This is arguably like all the alts are pretty decent, but this one is like up there. Very, very good. The next faction is the Phantoms. These guys are overpowered. Their passive is that they get increased health. So they have 120 health instead of 100, which is really fucking broken because it changes the breakpoints of guns and stuff. So you don't know how many times I've died to a Phantom and they're on like 19 or below health. And it's like, oh, okay, if they were playing any other class in a game, they would have died. And so it's like, okay, it's kind of bullshit. It's really strong. One of their abilities is that they get the mag barrier. The mag barrier is basically like your typical Reinhardt shield or something like that. You shoot down this little barrier thing and you just get to play behind it. It acts as a shield for cover. It takes a bunch of bullets to break or an EMP to break. And it's just good, especially, dude, I was playing around with this thing. This thing synergizes with the sniper really well. You throw down a shield and you could just take free sniper fights, you know? I have so many clips of me just diffing guys because they can't shoot through the barrier, obviously. It's really, really strong. Really, really, really strong. And then the other ability, the Blitz Shield. This is like the riot shield of the game. It's so stupid. It's so cheesy. I don't know why it's even in the game. I think it should be removed personally. All it is just a frontward facing riot shield barrier. You can melee with it. It takes 2 melees to kill somebody. You basically just want to use it to draw attention to yourself and, run up in people's faces and bash them. It's really stupid. The incendiary bomb from the cleaners is a really good counter to this, though. So it's not, it's like not super oppressive. It's just fucking annoying to deal with. And then the Phantom Ultimate Aegis. This is probably the best ultimate in the game. Another good ultimate for contesting objectives, really. You get this huge fucking like shield that goes around you. It's like a Winston bubble for my Overwatch players. And it goes around you. You also get like this special gun you pull out during it. And it's like this really, really close range shotgun thing that like it shoots really fast. I don't know exactly what the hell it is, but yeah, this ultimate, it doesn't come up. It has a long charge time, I feel like, but it has to because it's so strong, very good at, just standing on the escort bot, standing on objectives you need to cap, making people have to walk into your bubble to push you. Again, I feel like the cleaner Molotov is really good at dealing with this, but still a strong ultimate nonetheless. Moving on to Echelon. This fucking class is insanely strong, dude. Passive trait. Agent does not appear on enemy minimaps, so you cannot get marked on this character, I guess. I played this class a lot in the first couple days, and then I didn't really come back to it. I came back to it a little bit, but it's just, this class is insane. One of the ability is the intel suit. You get the location of enemy nearby enemies through walls. This is the wall hacks. It's the famous revealed by intel suit prompt you always get in every fucking game. It's just so broken, man. I was playing with my friends and like just acting like a makeshift orbital VSAT. Just like sitting in the corner of like an objective, revealing every enemy, and then they would just kill them with the wall hacks. It's honestly insanely broken, and I think it needs a very big nerf. It's on a long cooldown, but I think it needs to be even on a longer cooldown, dude. It is so oppressive, I can't even lie. And then the other ability is the fucking digital ghillie suit, man. It's like active camo from Halo. You press the button and all of a sudden you're invisible. You're still pretty easy to spot, but it's still good for throwing people off. This comboed with like the shotguns in the game, guys. I was running around with a double-barreled shotgun and the ghillie suit. Holy shit. It is so fucking broken, guys. I'm telling you. Try this combo. Yeah, I've inspired a lot of other shotgun users using this combo. I've even, run around corners, pop the active camo. They chase me around the corner thinking they're going to get a free kill, and they run into my shotgun. So it's just like, it's so broken. And then the ultimate, sonar goggles, classic revealed by sonar goggles. That's what the Echelon does. The Echelon loves to reveal your position, give their team wall hacks, and then their pistol they pull out a 5.7 pistol. They pull out their night vision goggles with their ultimate, and this pistol is essentially a one-tap headshot, two-shot body shot from like most ranges. So, I mean, I've gotten like quad kills, quintuple kills, sextuple kills with this fucking ultimate. It's insanely broken. And the fact that you get wall hacks on everybody and know where they are, you can start pre-firing people around the corner. Like, it's so fucking good, guys. I'm telling you. Echelon, I could see them nerfing this in the future. It definitely needs it. Moving on to the cleaners. The cleaners are basically the DPS option of the factions. All of their kit is based around fire and just doing damage with fire stuff. Pretty good. I mean, these guys are solid, they're passive, they get incendiary rounds. Basically, you get burn on every shot. So if you get somebody low, the burn has a chance to finish them off. This thing paired with the marksman rifle, I was using it, is so good because you could two-shot. The marksman rifle is like a two-shot, sometimes three-shot, but then the fucking fire rounds will sometimes just finish off the two-shot for you, and it's actually really nice. So it's pretty good. It nerfs your range a little bit because you have the fire bullets, but honestly, you don't notice it that much. It's still very, very good. And then, okay, so for the actual abilities, you have the firebomb, which it's a Molotov cocktail. When I first started playing the game, I thought you could throw this thing, but you can't. You just drop it under you. If you drop it on somebody directly, like in the center of you, it's an instant kill. It'll instantly kill them. If you drop it on like the edge of them, they'll take like damage over time, or dot rather, if you're familiar with that. And it's just not as good. You really want to use this on top of somebody. Like you could just take your pistol out, run faster, drop it on somebody. That's how I did that. That's how I got the 50 kills challenge. Like that's all you have to do, guys. I'm telling you, it's so easy. Pull out your pistol, kamikaze at somebody, drop the bomb on them. Like I've gotten 2-3 kills. Sometimes maybe even a quad one time. It's just insanely fucking good, guys. I'm telling you. Very, very strong. And then the other equipment you have is the incinerator drone. It's basically one of the drones you see with the cameras on that flies, except it leaves a burning trail and then explodes at the end of the burning trail. This thing is a little harder to use, It's in those... I was trying it out a lot on escort maps. It really sucks on escort maps or maps that are just like wide open and have a lot of space, you know what I mean? This thing really shines indoors with a lot of tight corridors, walls, because what you want to do... If you're trying to just hover it over them and get them caught in the fire trail, like it's not that great. Like they'll die to it if they're on like 1 HP, but you really want to be using this thing like an RCXD or something. Like you want to use the walls to explode it next to somebody because that's what gets the insta kill. And it's just hard on depending on the map. It's like really map specific where you want to use this thing. Like I said, close corridors really benefit this thing. Wide open spaces really don't benefit this thing, and you can shoot it out, I'm pretty sure. So not that great. And then let's move on to the ultimate. The ultimate is the Purifier, which is, I don't know if that's a rip directly from Black Ops 3, but isn't that what the Black Ops 3 flamethrower is called that the specialist gets? I'm pretty sure it is. But yeah, same thing. You pull out a flamethrower and it pretty much does the same thing. You torch people and they pretty much insta die to it. But the range isn't that great on it, right? So you want to be able to, use this thing on like an objective that's close quarters, or maybe use it around a corner. You don't really want to contest like marksmen or snipers with this thing, obviously, because you're gonna die before you can even get to them. But yeah, pretty solid. I don't play the cleaners too much, but they're decent. I don't mind them. So let's move on to the last of the factors, which is EdSec. I slept on these guys. I can't lie. These you have to unlock these characters because there's like a 700,000 XP challenge you got to do or something to get DeadSec. So I didn't really, I didn't really experience too much of DeadSec in the beginning, but they ended up being one of my favorite factions, dude. The Spider Drone is insane. So let's start off with the passive, right? The fucking Fabricator. This thing is nuts. Basically, whether you're running Flashbang, Proxy Mine, Frag Grenade, Sticky Grenade, whatever you're running in that piece of equipment, you basically keep making them. So if you throw a grenade, 15 seconds later you have a fresh one, which is insanely strong. Because you can use this thing in multiple ways, right? Like, say I used it when I was sniping, right? Like, I would snipe, I would pick this faction, I would throw down a proxy mine, somebody would die to it, and then I would already have another one up by the time that they die to the proxy mine. So you can just keep putting down like claymores to like watch yourself and watch your own back, or you could just keep throwing grenades or stuff into the objective. Like, it's actually really useful, really good for that. And then the abilities are pretty good as well. Hijack, this one I didn't really fuck around with that much. Didn't really care for it that much. You can just hack enemy abilities with it and make them your own. It's not that this thing's bad. Like, I'm sure it has its uses, right? Like, you can turn enemy spider bots into your own. You could probably turn barriers. Can you use this on barriers? I don't even actually know if you can. That'd be kind of crazy if you could. But yeah, you just use it on stuff you want to turn into your own ability, which is whatever. But the real bread and butter of the Watch Dogs faction is the spider bot. The spider bot is this little robot you lay down, and it'll follow an enemy, or it'll track an enemy. It will literally seek out an enemy and go follow them. And then when it follows them, if it gets next to them, it'll shock them. And if it gets like right up on you, it'll jump on your face and like CC you. It'll make it so you can't aim your gun. You can't really see anything. One of your teammates has to shoot it off you. And when it's on the ground shocking you, it makes your movement all fucked up. You can't look around the way you want to. You can't move around the way you want to. And for that alone, like, the amount this CCs you, crowd controls you, is just so strong on its own, especially for how much it goes on cooldown and how often you have this thing. It's essentially a free kill every single time you deploy it. The one downside to this thing is that it's kind of buggy in the sense where you'll like throw this thing down, it'll go one way, and then it'll go another way, and then it'll go another way. And it like decides where it wants to go forever. And sometimes it just has a hard time choosing a target, which is, I get it. It's a new game. There's probably some bugs to be worked out. I'm sure it's a bug, no pun intended. But yeah, sometimes this thing, it just has a hard time wanting to focus on like who to lock in on, you know what I mean? But that's like the only downside. This thing is insanely strong in every other regard. And it's what I go to when I'm just not playing the medical faction. So yeah, that's the two abilities you have. And then the Ultra ability I thought was terrible when I first started using it, but it's actually like one of the best. You disable enemies' HUD, their minimap, and the abilities in like a huge radius, right? So this is basically Sombra EMP from Overwatch. You shut down everybody's abilities. I thought this was trash in the longest time because I was like, oh, okay, it's not, you can destroy the occasional barrier or whatever. But what I realized is since Echelon, the guys that have constant wall hacks on you at all times, Echelon, it counters their ultimate and it counters their intel. It counters all of that stuff. So if you're revealed by like the goggle suit or whatever, you can just pop the lockout ultimate and just deal with it. It's fucking awesome. I love shitting on those Echelon players that are like, oh yes, I finally got my overpowered ultimate. Time to kill the whole enemy team with my fucking 2-shot pistol and my night vision goggles. And then you're like, LOL, nope. And then you just cancel it. I hate playing against Sombra and Overwatch, right? So it feels really dishonest to lock in DeadSec for this reason. But man, countering those wall hacks feels amazing, dude. And I cannot even lie about it. We talked about the weapons, the maps, the game modes, and all of the factions or heroes. So that's pretty much it, guys. We're not going to go on that much longer. I'm just going to get into what feels good about the game, what feels bad about the game, maybe some things that need change, and then we'll wrap it up there. Okay? So not too much longer. Let's get the bad out of the way first. It's double XP weekend, right? Which has been nice because we can level all the weapons we use. I've been leveled the marksman rifle. I've been leveling the M60, some SMGs I want to use, and just stuff I want to use later. So it's nice for that, but when it goes away, it's gonna suck, right? The weapon leveling needs adjustment in this game. It just needs to be slightly faster without double XP, and then I think we'll be in a pretty good spot. There's the problem of desync. I know I hate to be this guy. I hate to be that guy that complains about desync and the engine of the game or whatever. I know it's a problem they're needing to figure out. I normally wouldn't complain about it because it's normally not a big deal, but in this game, it actually does feel like you're dying around the corner sometimes. Again, not the biggest deal in the world. It doesn't happen too often. You can play around it, but yeah, it's just worth mentioning. I know it's something they're probably gonna fix, so that's just nice to see. Just nice to bring up, I guess. So, sure. I had this problem in the beginning when I first started playing, but now it's not so bad. I had in my notes here that I just felt like SMGs felt so bad to use, especially that MP5. But now that I've gotten some levels on them and kind of adjusted my movement and got used to the recoil in this game and kind of got used to the movement in this game and how to move around fast and outplay people with movement and the in-air control is nutty in this game. No other shooter has that. But now that I've kind of gotten used to all these different factors, I feel like it's not so much of a problem. I can do very well with the MP5 now. It's actually my highest rated gun. I have bronze for it now. I'm level 55 with it. It's fucking nuts. But yeah, this isn't really a problem anymore. So I probably shouldn't even brought it up, but whatever. Maybe somebody else feels this way, but I don't know. The SMGs, I just against assault rifles or anything else in the game. If you take a fair gunfight with an an AR player with an SMG, you're just gonna lose the whole time. You know what I mean? SMGs really feel like they're about catching people off guard and then outplaying with movement because you're so fast. But that's really all I have to say about that. And then the one bad thing is just the constant wall hacks from the Splinter Cell ops. The Splinter Cell ops or Echelon or whatever the faction is just way too broken, man. Just think about how many times you see Intel suit revealed you or sonar goggles revealed you on your screen at all times. You know what I mean? It's fucking kind of crazy. It's happening all game. I think it's really unfair. I think they should rework this ability or, maybe give it a longer cooldown or I don't know what they need to do with it, but it's just constant wall hacks in an FPS game are just okay, dude, are we really doing this? But at the same time, I get it because it's if they do end up running into a cheating problem, these operators can help counter cheaters, I guess. But it's I don't know. I don't really like the wall hacks, but that's just a me problem, I guess. So I'll just mention a couple things that maybe suggestions, some things worth changing. I want to see my profile in game. You know what I mean? You can go to your profile in the menu and pull it up and it shows all of your hours for the factions, shows your KD, shows your win-loss and stuff like that. I don't know why, but there was a point in a match where I needed to pull it up and see. And I couldn't. It would just be cool if you could, you know what I mean? Another thing is I wish I could see what attachments my killer has on their gun. I know it says what they killed me with in the kill feed, and also it'll say Vector 45 or whatever as a text screen in the kill feed or in the kill cam, not the kill cam, but after death as well. And I just wish I could see what attachments they were running, just because I'd be oh, okay, maybe that's a decent build I'd like to try out or whatever. Just something they could consider. Bigger VAP moding section in the lobby menu, right? Every time it says creating match or whatever, I'm in my loadout fucking with my, just fucking with my class or whatever, trying to try different stuff out. And I always feel I forget to vote on the map. I wish it would kind of kick me out and make the map screen bigger just so I could see what maps to vote for or whatever. It's very small. This is just a me being retarded kind of thing I'm suggesting here, but It would just be nice if maybe the map voting was bigger so you just see the maps better. Not the biggest deal in the world. Very, very small nitpick. Um, Emblems for ranks, guys. This is the one thing I don't like about leveling in XDefiant. There's really no camo grind in this game. It feels like all the camos come from, you know, battle pass skins, which is like, I don't know. That's like the one thing Call of Duty does good, where it's like every gun has like a camo you can grind for, which is pretty cool. It just would be cool to see it in this game. But that's weapon camos. I was talking about the ranks. You have like a one through number ranking, 1 through 100. I don't even know what the max rank is in this game. But it's just a circle with a number around it, and Call of Duty kind of does like the military thing, like 1 to 55 with the military logos. That's pretty cool. I'd like to see something come to XDefiant with like rankings, you know what I mean? Or prestiges or something. Just, cool emblems. Why not, right? I wrote coins in the battle pass, but I actually looked through the battle pass the other day for the first time. And there's coins in the battle pass. There's actually enough to get you the next one, which I think there's a pretty cool change. So you really don't have to buy the battle pass once if you want to. I probably won't buy it, but if you do buy it once, like you might have it for life, right? If you don't buy any other shop shit with your coins, because you get enough in the battle pass to buy the next one if they keep staying 700 coins anyway. I didn't buy the battle pass. I probably won't unless I somehow complete it. Then I'll maybe consider buying it. But like I said, I might not even be playing this game in a bit. So these games don't tend to stick with me too long. I just like to play them as something to, kind of just cool down from my main game, Overwatch here. But yeah, we'll see, man. It might keep me around. We might get a lot of off-angle episodes on XDefiant in the future, man. I can't tell. I'm really enjoying the game, so it very well could be a mainstay in my main line of games here, but we'll see, man. We'll see. And that's all of my suggestions right now for needing change. Maybe I'll make a wish list of stuff later I can also throw in, but I really don't have much to say bad about this game, guys. It's brand new. It's free to play. We did not have to pay a single dollar for this game. There's no pay to win advantage. That's really just it, guys. It's pretty great. People think of a game launch today. They do it with Overwatch as well. They think of a game launch today and they're like, oh, the game sucks. It's, there's no content in it or whatever. And it's just the same shit. But the thing is, guys, is they don't release a final product, right? Like it's going to be worked on. It's going to be iterated on. They're going to keep adding stuff. Like that's what live service is these days. But people expect like an insane amount of stuff like right out of the gate. Like why? Of course they're going to withhold content and stuff, guys. Like why would they throw everything out at once? If they want this game to be a multi-year game, of course they're going to hold on to stuff. That's just how it is. But whatever. Small minor complaint. I could see what people complaining about that, but I mean, at the end of the game, like you don't have to play it if you don't like it, and it's a free game, so there's literally zero risk to downloading this. But yeah, I love XDefiant, man. Let's just talk about a few of the good things, and then I'll sign off here. Just a few things I wanted to mention about the game that I think are really cool before I get out of here. Fast-paced, brain-off shooting. Like, it's just cool to have another game like this, I haven't bought new Call of Duty in forever just because new COD is boring, new COD is uninspired. I just didn't really care for new COD, and the fact that I didn't have to pay for this, it's free. It's brain off. You just run around, turn your brain off, shoot stuff, use your abilities, use your ult, get a bunch of kills, outplay your opponents. It's just fun, man. It's just good, honest fun, and there's no harm in that. So I love the fact, this is going to be controversial, but I love the fact that there's no kill cam. How many times do you guys hear about people watch the kill cam and they go, oh, he's cheating. He's cheating, man. I'm just so fucking tired of the cheating discussion involving, or just that's around FPS games nowadays. I just stop crying cheater, guys. Like, we know cheating happens, but cheating content and like cheating VODs and shit, or like you see it in the Siege community all the time. You see it in like Call of Duty, the community all the time. Every FPS game has this problem, and their content creators will just watch replays of cheaters, and it's just so cringy because it's like, isn't that exactly what the cheater wants you to do? They want you to make a video about them. They want to be on your YouTube. They want the recognition. So why the fuck are you giving it to them? It's so stupid, man. So the fact that there's no kill cams in this game means people are crying cheater less. It's just good, man. I hate people crying cheater. It's just so annoying. Yes, the occasional cheater does happen in video games, but just shut the fuck up about it and move on. If we keep getting these idiots recognition, then it'll keep being a problem. But if you don't give them recognition, it's just a problem that will eventually go away. I feel like it's the same as racism, man. There's so much more racism on the internet that actually happens in real life. You know what I mean? Like if we just shut the fuck up about it, it's literally a problem that just doesn't affect anybody. Maybe that's a hot take, but I don't really give a shit. It's just the same retarded argument over and over again, and I'm just tired of it, man. Let's just get back into XDefiant here. Different game modes all feel pretty fun. You know, it's got a variety of different ways to play the game. I prefer domination and payload the most, or escort. I just love escort in this game. I think it's really cool. It turns the brain off kind of arena shooter playstyle into a different game type where, you know, you have to fight for map control. You have to fight for picks and numbers. You have to push the bot at good times. It's just really cool, man. It really fits a game like this really well. And it's funny because I didn't like payload when I first started playing this game. I thought it was really dumb. But the second I learned about, you know, I applied stuff from Overwatch to this game because it's got a similar game mode. And like, yeah, getting that map control, getting that high ground control, setting up power positions with different abilities and stuff that's how you succeed in this game. It's pretty cool. Unlocking stuff through progression in the game, right? Guys, when's the last time we unlocked stuff without money in a game like this? You know what I mean? Being able to unlock all the weapons through small, minor challenges that aren't too difficult, with equipment and gadgets and like different factions and characters. It just feels good to not have to open your wallet to get stuff like this, you know? Pretty cool. Pretty cool. And then the one thing I'll mention at the end is just I love giving props to your team at the end. You know, this is something there was in Overwatch, but they took it out for some reason. It was like the end of the game player card, things you could vote on. And then it's just cool to see get recognition from your teammates or give props to your teammates. And then while I'm on the train of this, I'll also say the emotes in the kill feed as well. And then the emote packs are a genius fucking addition. I love reacting to my death, with the emoticons in the kill feed. I think it's so genius. It's so funny. It's just a lot of wholesome moments happen from it. It's just so cool. The sad one, the angry one, the laugh one, the like thumbs up, and then like the purple surprised face. That's all of them. It's just funny to be able to react like that to your death in different ways. So that's cool to say. And that's really it, guys. That is all for XDefiant. That is all I really have to say. Sorry if this one felt like it was kind of slugging on a bit. There's just a lot I wanted to cover in this game, and I wanted to cover it this week just because, like I said, I might not be playing it next week, but we'll see, man. I'm gonna play a little more today, and I can't wait, man. It's a very fucking fun game, very fun free game. Like this is like props to Ubisoft, man. I think they really knocked it out of the park with this one, and it's only getting started, man. So we'll see what they cook up next. I can't wait to see what new factions come to the game. I can't wait to see what new weapons come to the game. It's just exciting, man, and I'm here for it. So yeah, we'll see, man. It also I'll mention really quick. I know that R6 is a huge part of Ubisoft's company, right? So I'm very surprised if they're going to do anything Rainbow Six in this game. I'm sure they will at some point, but it would be cool to see them add like an operator or maybe some abilities from Rainbow Six as a faction. Could be very cool. So we'll see, man. But yeah, that's really it, guys. We're signing off here. I'll just let you know a little bit. We'll just talk about the podcast and what it's going to be a little bit in the future here. Actually, not too much. I'm cooking up some stuff. I know I told you guys I was playing Call of Duty 4. I did finish that. I beat it on Veteran. I'm working on the video. I wanted that to be my special number 10 mainline episode video for my 10th double-digit episode. So, yeah, we're going to throw that as the 10th one. XDefiant will be number 9, as you see now. I was originally going to make off-angle for XDefiant. It was originally going to be an off-angle video, but then I realized, like, I'm talking about the game in its entirety and all it has to offer now. That's not to say I can't talk about off angles in the future about XDefiant. Maybe make an XDefiant Part 2 and there's a lot more stuff in the game. We'll see, man. We'll see where it goes. But yeah, expect Call of Duty Modern Warfare 4 or Modern Warfare 2 soon. Not Modern Warfare 2. What the fuck am I even saying? Modern Warfare Remastered Call of Duty 4. Expect that soon. So yeah, expect some minisodes in the future maybe. And then I'm playing a game behind the scenes right now. I'm not going to talk about it. I'm just going to drop it. And then I also got some goodies coming in the mail too for future episodes as well. It's very exciting, man. Very excited to keep doing the podcast. I'm having a great time with it. I feel like they're getting better. They're still not great, right? The episodes are going to get better. This is my 10th mainline episode, right? Or my 9th rather. So I haven't done that many mainline episodes, but I'm excited to get back into it, man. Excited to not get back into it, but excited to just put forward content. I'm trying to do more mainline episodes instead of off angles now to just kind of, I feel like off angles are kind of a cheap cop out to a full episode. You know what I mean? Like if I'm not playing anything, sure. But honestly, there's a week between, the episodes that come out. I only upload once a week, as you guys know. And I feel like that works for me because, I worked on this XDefiant video 2 days in a row now, and it's going pretty well. I feel like it's going pretty well. But yeah, it's just nice to be able to have one video that I focus more on. So yeah, that'll be that. Expect an off angle in the future, maybe. Expect Call of Duty 4 for episode 10. And that's really it, guys. We're going to sign off here. So I appreciate you sticking around if you're hearing this. Appreciate you subscribing to my channel. Appreciate it, guys. I think that's pretty great. So Jerry Yap signing out here, guys. Take care.